In today's video, we have spent the last month building the Azkaban Prison from Harry Potter. Why, you might ask? Because this is going to get me so many girls when they watch a full-grown man spend a month of his life placing pixelated blocks in a video game for no reason. So I hope you are all Harry Potter fans, because this video... Actually, no, that's a lie. I don't really give a shit. But nevertheless, come with us on this magical journey where we use crazy mining techniques, building at insane heights with beautiful sceneries, TNT explosions, and spending countless hours just placing the same block over and over again in the same pattern for no other reason but to make the build overly big, as I'm constantly compensating. And if you enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get started. Now, to begin the build, we have to go off some reference photos. I decided on using this one from the film and then this random kid's toy one, which we'll end up using later. Now, in all of the reference pictures, it shows the prison being in this crazy storm area with these massive waves crashing into it. Now, I actually didn't end up building this part of the reference photo just because, well, I don't wanna. This build is strictly just the prison itself, and if that upsets you, then maybe you should just go watch Underage Hermione spell off some wizards. Yep, great. There goes my ad revenue for the video. So, first things first, we had to work out the dimensions of the build, as this would determine how big it would be in the world. And you know me, I like to go big. Everywhere but the bedroom. So we settled on 170 blocks in diameter for this equilateral triangle, and tested the size out in my creative world just to be sure I was happy with the overall foundation. Next, we had to pick the location of the build. From the reference photos, it all seems to be surrounding a sea of ocean, so I had to find the best spot for that, which just happened to be past my redwood forest kingdom, and found a nice body of open water with a few landmarks on it. So we had to do some quick terraforming sessions to get the full body of water I was after, and we were finally ready to start building the foundation of the Azkaban Prison. So this is pretty much what our foundation is going to be looking like. You can see we've just done 2 triangles in the middle, just because I was playing around with the sizes of that middle triangle you can see in those reference photos. And I think once building both of them, I think we're going to go with the one closest to the middle, just because it allows us to have a bit more space for this outside layer, and proportionally looks better with the build itself. But now what we need to do is basically complete the foundation, and then we need to start gathering our materials. Now, our main building material was going to be deep slate tiles, and if you know anything about collecting deep slate, it is a real hassle trying to mine, as you can't just instant mine it with using haste 2 from a beacon like you can with the majority of blocks. However, I found this really cool and unique way of mining deep slate faster than with your own pickaxe, and that is with the wither. You'll see later on how it is done, but this meant we had to go and gather materials to spawn the wither. Also, I just want to include this clip because I thought it was actually really weird, and I've never had this happen before in my Minecraft world, so maybe someone in the comments down below can explain this. Right, I could have sworn that I actually did get a drop of that wither skeleton skull, so I literally just went back in the footage quick just to check, and look right here. See, you see it drops right there, but I didn't pick it up at all. I'll play it again. Boom, there, you see? It was right there. There, you can see, like, where my cursor is now, that it's just there, and then it just instantly disappears. Hey, that's crazy, because there wasn't even that many items, like, around, so there wouldn't have been entity cramming or anything like that. So, that's actually mad. I've never seen that before. So, yeah, I thought that was just interesting. Anyway, I had already stored a load of wither skulls from before, so we just ended up taking them with some soul sand, and made our way into a deep slate cave, unalived a spider and a child, and then begun the wither mining process. Alright, this is gonna be probably a bad idea, but let's watch the chaos ensue. Never done this before. Please don't blow me up. So I'm going to stand a bit further back. Oh, fuck. Where's he gone? Oh, no! Oh, I've done this wrong. Oh! Oh, yeah, that's what I need to do. Okay, he needs to get out of his flying thing. Oh, dude, I screwed this up so bad. I mean, maybe... Oh, dude, is this even worth it? Alright, where is he? He's fucking healing. Okay, nice. One hot. Let's go. Where you at? No. Okay, this is what I needed. Oh, I'm gonna die. Okay, then I think what we do now is we just hit him slightly, because then he'll just keep attacking. And then as he attacks, he obviously just breaks the deep slate for us, which is what we needed. Oh, boys, look at us move now. He's just lining this whole place up for us. Okay, we're coming up to the end of our little hallway, so I think I'm going to kill him now. Boom. Alright, there we go. Now we just take our torches out and we see what the damage is. Oh, we got some diamonds as well. Sweet. Okay, so he's kind of cleared out like what? Like a 4x4 like radius of deep slate. Let's just go and collect now all of the deep slate and then we'll add up. So just from using that one wither farming technique, we've accumulated about 20 stacks of cobbled deep slate and then about, 32 diamonds just on the side. But that worked actually pretty well. I'm actually quite surprised how well it did work. So we're going to do that a couple more times, fill up the rest of these shulker boxes here, and then we're going to go back and start the build of the prison. So after a few more wither mining sessions and a totem pop, because I'm an absolute legend who lives on the edge, we finally had enough deep slate to make a start on the build. Oh, I also had to quickly create the shape of the concaved section of the build as shown in the reference photo. Otherwise, I would have had to do it after building the entire thing, which would have been pointless. But we finally made a start on the long journey of building the prison. It was essentially a process of building a triangle over and over again, mixed in with a few more wither mining sessions to collect more deep slate for the build. And there's not much else to say about this process other than the higher you build with the shaders mod pack, the more scenic the world becomes. This is partly why I love doing these mega builds in the middle of nowhere, as the environments and scenes you get with the shaders is just unreal. Right, this is our little progress update on the build. As you can see, this thing is absolutely massive. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Arrival, but it kind of reminds me of that, like big alien ship, but obviously this one's like more of a triangle than an oval shape. But yeah, let's go take a closer look. This thing is looking so cool though, just like in the middle of nowhere, and it kind of just almost appears like alien. But yeah, this is kind of what it's looking like so far. Obviously we've had to spend quite a bit of time getting the deep slate and then placing it, but it hasn't been too bad with the wither technique. So that's actually been really useful. Let's see what it looks like down here as well. Land in the middle, boom. Oh yeah, and when you look up, it looks so sick. Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, from the outside, it probably doesn't look like much, but we're gonna add in some texturing as soon as we've finished the actual foundation of it. But yeah, this is looking really cool so far. It's spent a lot of time on this outer section, but I think that's going to be the hardest section for now. We're just going to go ahead, finish this smaller triangle off, and then fill in the top, and then kind of start the detailing process. So yeah, pretty much did the same thing, but for the middle triangle section, and built it all the way to the top. So what we have just completed now is the ending of this like little concaved section here. We've kind of just caved it off at the top because in the reference photo it kind of stops just about like a quarter away from the top. So we've kind of made the ending of this concave section around about at this height. And yeah, now all we're going to do is just go up a few more blocks high and then seal it off for the actual roof itself. We are also slowly reaching the height build limit, so we can't go too high for this next section. But I'm only thinking like just a couple more blocks high, just so that we can clear this section. But I think maybe around about to like here, because we can't make it too tall, otherwise we're just never going to be flying up there. And yeah, let's just go ahead and finish this bad boy off. Okay, so now what we need to do is we have to now remove these blocks in a straight line, and that goes all the way around the surface of this rooftop area. As you can see on the reference photo, there's like these just weird dotted lines going across the surface. But yeah, now we're just going to go ahead and just mine out that section here, and then we're just going to dull it up a bit with some more details. Okay, so this is kind of the floor design that we're going to go with. We've made like these incisions into the rooftop floor here, but I think kind of just leaving them just like with black concrete itself is just a bit bland. So I've kind of replicated a cool little design here for the floor. It's kind of like a nice little cool like voidy type design. It's taken us about like 20 layers to do, and we basically just go with every other layer and just put in black stained glass and then an end rod in the next layer, and you get like this cool little void design. So I think we're just going to replicate that throughout the entire floor crease in this triangle section. And then once we've finished that, we've just replaced the edges here with some deep slate stairs, just to kind of, you know, give it a little bit more detail rather than just like a plain block. Now, to create this void floor, we mainly need black ink for the items we are going to need. So I had to AFK at my squid farm for a bit, and then collected a few extra items from home, and then began the process. Now, this void floor effect was actually a lot of fun to build. While it was a bit tedious, and the most annoying part was actually collecting the end rods from the end, but to pass the time, I actually started a stream on Twitch, so I wasn't as bored. So if you're ever interested in catching one of my streams, feel free to hop over to Twitch and give me a follow. But eventually, after a couple hours, we finally got the floor done. Okay, now that we've finished the actual flooring bit of the build on the rooftop, we are now moving on to the next stage, which, as you can see from the reference photo, there's a massive crater that's been kind of like created from when the prisoners actually escape the prison itself within the movie. So now what we need to do is basically just go ahead and create that crater ourselves. Probably shouldn't have actually built this floor section before doing the actual crater, because now I think it's just going to get destroyed. But I think the easiest way to kind of do this is to use TNT. So all that we need to do now is go farm a bunch of gunpowder and sand to make the TNT, and then we're just going to plaster it
all over this bit and then basically just explodes and make the crater. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to that now. So we collected a bunch of sand, AFK'd at my creeper farm for the gunpowder for about an hour, then found out that the minecart collector was broken, so ended up with absolutely nothing, fixed it, and then had to do the whole thing again. Love my life. Okay, so we now have our TNT, and I've kind of just placed some markers here on where we need the crater to actually be. So now we're just going to go in and chuck a load of TNT within this gap region, and then we're going to take it from there. Okay, we have now done the crater outline with all this TNT. Let's just get like a nice top view here as well. So it goes all the way back to here. And so now all that's left to do is light it. So without further ado, let's get it going now. All right, let's go. Oh, shit. Alright, sweet. That was actually quite sick. It actually didn't do that much damage. Oh, it's actually made like almost a perfect crater size here at the back as well. So that's actually not bad. But yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll kind of just like iron this out a bit. But yeah, that's kind of a good start. So what we're going to do now is kind of just go ahead and just iron out the crater just a bit better than what the TNT's done here. But it's given us a nice little... a good like start to it. After that completely insane movie-like stunt, we began with just clearing the rest of the excess middle wall bits to make room for the crater. I then started to fill in the gap with cobbled deep slate to give off the impression the inside of the prison had rubble everywhere after its explosion. However, just the one block material wasn't cutting it for me, so I had to go then and mine some actual deep slate blocks for a bit of variation within the rubble and sparsely place them about. And I did the same thing but with the tough block as well, which created a nice rubble effect for the overall aesthetic of the crater. Alright, so we have just finished now the entire crater section. As you can see, we basically just went in and added some blocks of like rubble to kind of give a nice little break off effect here. And then what we've also done, which I thought was actually quite cool, is we've kind of just gone in and amended like the sides bits here, so you can see like the chunks that have fallen off, but more importantly the chunks that have like stayed intact with the wall itself, which I thought was quite cool. And then we've just kind of added like different bits of like rubble from the wall onto like the sides here, so they've like kind of fallen off into the crater themselves, just kind of just adding a bit of like weathering effects and almost just like telling the story a bit better. From what it looks like here to the reference photo, I think it's almost pretty accurate. I mean, I don't know. I think it does actually make the build a bit more crap because obviously it's been destroyed, but we're going for more accuracy of the actual reference photo than anything. I could have just left it, but I think that is just a bit boring. And then I think what the final bit of detail I want to add is from this reference photo of the kid's toy is we've basically got all like these bricked layers. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the same material that we've used here, these deep slate tiles, and then we're just going to go in and add like big chunked sections of it around the build just to add a bit more detail. I actually ended up adding some details to the perimeter line and the concaved section as I thought it was just a bit bland before, but I did eventually start on the texturing of the build, but upon reviewing it, I don't know man, it just wasn't really sitting right with me when I looked at it from afar. I know this Hollywood type of framing of the footage really helps you guys see what I mean, but in the end I just decided against it. But I may change my mind in the future when I come back to this build. But for now, we had finally finished building the Azkaban Prison. If you made it this far in the video, I deeply appreciate it and want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like and also subscribing to the channel. It really does help me out a lot. And with that, I'll see you all in the next one.